Hi Leo, welcome to your July 2019 Astrology 33 reading, and happy early birthday to those of you who do celebrate in July. We have a Celtic cross spread in front of us where you guys got some extra cards. I pulled cards from two different oracle decks. You got an extra card in one of those, and then we also have a mudra card to look at. And also, before I forget, for those of you who want to book a personal reading with me, donate to the channel, or follow me on Instagram, check out the description of the video for more info on all that. All right, but let's get into the main spread. Starting with the card in the main situation position, we have the Tower. So, probably not the news you were looking for, right? Especially if your birthday's in July. But, really with this just represents a lot of times it could be something that was built on a faulty foundation. And, to me, sometimes on a more mental level, it could be something that you built up to be something more than what it really is. So, it doesn't have to be a physical thing. I know it doesn't necessarily make it any easier for some of you. But also with these things too, they tend to point to a divine intervention, because if you think of that as a lightning bolt, it technically should have done all the damage that it did to that tower, right? So, something that needed to go or at least be rebuilt on a more stable foundation. So that could be what's at play there. And we are moving into eclipse season as well. And then Mars is going to be moving in your sign pretty early on in July, too. I think maybe even the second day of July. So, that could be what's causing that shift as well, where, something needs to be shaken up in your life. And it looks like this will be the month where it will most likely happen. But for those of you who are a bit concerned about seeing this energy, especially having it in the forefront of your reading, what I usually recommend to people is to pick up some black tourmaline for protection. You could just carry it around with you for the month. Um, the reason I always say that is because I think of the striations in black tourmaline, and it also reminds me of Devil's Tower, if you guys ever heard of that story. So that could be what could help you out in that situation as well. Now in the challenger obstacle position, we have the Two of Swords. So this is actually a Libra energy. So some of you could be dealing with a Libra, but what I see as being more likely here is this could just be a blockage in communication for you, because Libra is your third house of communication. And we also have the Justice card at the bottom of the deck, which is your house of communication, and it's the major arcana for Libra. So really what that could be pointing to is maybe there's something that you need to speak about with someone, and maybe it's this delay that might cause that tower moment. So, there's a talk that you've needed to have with someone for a long time now, even though there's not anything directly going on in your house of communication this month. It seems like that's really being pushed to the forefront for you guys. So, you know, with the blindfolds there to me, and then with the moon in the background and also the water behind them, to me those two symbols represent emotions. And to me it's like turning your back on your emotions and just trying to take things at a strictly intellectual level, not really trying to get your feelings involved or anything like that. Trying to make a decision strictly based on logic. But the only thing is, that's fine, but is it maybe taking too long, right? Whatever this decision is that you need to make, because the danger there could be that could be what causes the tower moment. It's like one of those things where, you need to act on something, but after a certain time, if you don't, the universe could sometimes take it away from you. In the foundation position, we have the Nine of Swords. So to me, this is another indicator that you're definitely having some kind of anxiety around something. This is actually a card of Gemini, and it's the middle 10 degrees of Gemini. So this could even be pointing back to something that happened at the very beginning of June for some of you. Maybe this is how long you've been trying to deliberate over this decision you need to make. And, to me, this represents sleepless nights, anxiety. So to me, it's clearly going to be tied to this tower situation and that Two of Swords. It can be financial in nature since we have the Two of Pentacles too in the past position, but to me, it definitely looks like there's been some indecision on your part and delaying on your part. And, so for some of you, the tower, in a way, it might seem sudden, but it could be one of those where in hindsight you realize that, okay, yeah, this was coming. It was bubbling underneath the surface, but you might have just felt a little frozen regarding which decision to make in the situation. Well, like I was saying in the past position, we have the Two of Pentacles. So, this can represent maybe there's two options you were trying to decide between as far as finances go, right? Maybe you were trying to decide between two jobs. If that's the case, keep in mind that not necessarily both, but maybe one of the two options will be taken from you, right? And maybe that might end up being better off for you. For some of you, if you really are so stuck trying to decide between the two paths, if one of them gets taken away, then okay, you obviously that'll make your decision process a lot easier, right? But I don't necessarily really see this as a timeline, because that would go all the way back to the time of Capricorn. Although there will be an eclipse in Capricorn, a full moon eclipse this month, but that would be still to come, not in the past. So, I don't really see this as timeline related. So, for the majority of you, this really is something regarding finances. Could even be, for you guys, Capricorn is your sixth house. So, this could just be related to a daily routine as well. So something that would have a pretty significant shift for you as far as your daily routine could be a work life, and maybe you've just been trying to decide between two different paths there. Maybe you've even been working at two different jobs, and maybe it's really been burning you out. That's another way it could be working out. That could be what that Nine of Swords energy is pointing to there. And if it has been burning you out, to where it's, almost more trouble than it's worth, one of those two options might end up being taken from you this month. All right, in the present position, we have the Temperance card. So this is actually the major arcana card for Sagittarius. So this could point to you possibly dealing with the Sagittarius. But this is a card that represents balance as well. And we do have Jupiter moving retrograde through that sign right now, and that's its home sign as well. So, what I usually say with the outer planets, they're the more karmic planets. And when they go in retrograde, as opposed to a personal planet going retrograde, where we would really have to be the ones who reconsider, review and reflect on situations, when the karmic planets go in retrograde, they tend to balance things on a more karmic level. So, again, like I said, going back to one of those things where if you've been undecided or putting off a decision that deep down you've needed to make, this looks like, at least in the more positive sense, that yes, that tower moment will step in to make the decision for you essentially. But the good thing is with the Temperance card, it looks like it will restore balance for you in some way. And, since that is fifth house for you guys too, it could be related to fifth house matters. So that could be dating, creativity, even children possibly. So those are some of the areas it could impact. All right, in the near future position, we have the Seven of Wands. So this is actually a Leo card. It represents the last 10 degrees of Leo. So for those of you who were born, like, let's say, the middle of August, this could definitely be pointing more to you guys, and maybe that's what, you might feel like you have to stand your ground regarding something. So this could be one of those things where, maybe late in the game, or maybe you might even take that tower moment for you guys to realize that you need to stand up and fight for something, stand up for yourselves. Just put up a fight for something, whether it be a connection, maybe a job, maybe a decision you've made, right? Whatever the case may be, there can be a feeling of opposition there with the Seven of Wands, but the good thing is, if you look at the artwork, yes, there's six wands, and it looks like they're, challenging the person. Oh, can't get it to focus. There we go. Looks like they're challenging the person, but at the same time, they do have that higher vantage point, which, can help them out. I actually view this as a combination of the sun and Jupiter. So, if there is something that you do need to put up a fight for, it looks like you will at least have some luck with that this month. All right, in the position of your influence on the situation, we actually got 3 cards that came up. And you guys got Queen of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, and Nine of Pentacles. So an interesting combination of cards. Starting with the Queen of Cups, this is actually a court card for Cancer. So, this could just point directly to you guys. For example, if you're a Leo sun, it's not unlikely for some of you at least to have your Mercury or your Venus in the sign of Cancer, and could be any other placement as well. But to me, what I'm seeing here, though, what stands out to me is the way, she has that cup there, and this is the only cup card in the entire suit where the cup is covered. So again, this could be about you being closed off, and again, not wanting to let something go. And again, that could point back to that tower moment happening. But we will be in basically for most of the month a lot of Cancer energy. The sun will be there. We're going to have an eclipse there early on in the month. A lot of energy going on there. So this could just point to your inner world. You're just really reflecting on things, not really ready to outwardly make a move, but, you're really deep in thought about certain situations. And again, with that Ace of Pentacles, it could be about making some kind of a change financially. And it could be because you realize that, what path you're in now financially, you might have realized you maxed it out, right? Because we have the Nine of Pentacles there. So you might realize, okay, I can't get to that Ten of Pentacles in my current state. So, you might realize you have to make a shift there. Whether it's, change careers, for example, take on a second job, and maybe that's what some of you have already been trying to do. But maybe you're just trying to figure out a way to incorporate that in your life in a more healthy way. I'm trying to think if anything else really comes to mind with this combination of cards. And, if this is also a romantic relationship too, where you're realizing that maybe you and that person have reached a wall there, right? Again, Ten of Pentacles can also represent like a family connection, where you feel like you have that true fulfillment, that safety, that security that you're longing for. And you might realize that, okay, yeah, I need that Ten of Pentacles. And you might even feel like you're almost single, right? So, or that you need to just embrace that because you're not going to get any further with this connection. So that could be what's going on there. All right, in the position of the environment's influence on the situation, we have the Eight of Cups. So what this can be for some of you at the very least is, like I was saying, with the Tower there and the Two of Swords, like I was saying, it could be a block in communication. So this could end up being, like I said, if there was something that you've needed to talk to someone about, and, most likely would be in a romantic context. In this case, maybe your inability to speak up about whatever needed to be spoken about might just lead to the other person deciding to leave and look for something more fulfilling. So again, maybe if you were holding back your feelings, right, with that Queen of Cups with the closed off cup there, maybe that could lead them to feel like, well, maybe this person isn't really in it the way that I expected them to be, right? And then that could just lead them to walk away. But for some of you, this could also represent your energy too, because, with this being the influence of the environment, it doesn't necessarily have to always be another person. It could just be the energies at play that cause an effect on you. So this could just be you deciding to walk away from something. And, if that's the case, you might have felt unfulfilled anyway, but you could have just been indecisive about finally making that last move, right, to actually leave the connection. And then, like I said, that could be what brings the Tower moment about this month, because it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to make the move, the universe will make the move for you. Usually it's a little bit more painful if you let it get to that point. So it is better to try to make the move yourself. But yeah, that could be what's happening there. All right, in the position of hopes or fears, we have the Ten of Wands. So, this could actually play out either way, hope or fear. Some of you could just be hoping for the strength to continue to carry this connection, right? Or whatever it is that you're, reluctant to let go of. But for others of you, this could just be saying that you fear that, that you'll have to carry this burden on your own. So again, if you feel like maybe that's what it is. Maybe with the connection, you feel like it's unbalanced, right? And it looks like there is the potential for the balance to be restored, whether it be the connection's broken altogether, so you don't have to, feel like you're burdened in that way, or there would have to be some kind of communication to take place in order to salvage it. I feel like I said, that Libra being your house of communication with the two swords there and Justice at the bottom of the deck. Looks like if this is something that you'd want to save, you will need to speak up about whatever's going on. And that would be different for some of you depending on what's going on. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing with this card. This is actually a card of Sagittarius, so there's more Sagittarius energy. So maybe some of you are dealing with a Sagittarius. It represents the last 10 degrees of Sagittarius. Well, the good thing is, no matter what, in the outcome position, you guys have the Strength card, which is actually the major arcana card for your sign. So, however it plays out, it definitely could end up being a very bumpy ride for some of you with the Tower card. Like I said, it looks like the main theme here is to say that either you need to do something on your behalf to move something forward, or it will be done for you. But yeah, with the Strength card, this is your major arcana card. So, on the more mundane level, this could just be pointing to the fact that the sun will be moving into the sign of Leo at the end of the month, and that's why it's in the outcome position. But given it's the major arcana, I think it is bigger than that. So, so this looks like, again, whatever that Tower moment is, especially with the Temperance in the present position and Justice at the bottom of the deck, it looks like by the end of the month, you might be feeling better about whatever it is that took place. Like I said, whatever it is that you decide to actually speak up about something that you feel is unbalanced and actually restore the balance in the process, or something gets taken away from you, it's at least promising to have your own major arcana in the outcome position, because it shows that you'll be feeling like yourself and back on course, basically. All right. The first oracle card you guys got is Time to Go. There's the artwork for it, and it's number 45, in case that has any significance for you guys. Okay, it says endings, completion, walking away from something because there is nothing else to learn or experience. So at the very least, that alone, like I was saying, could definitely point to then maybe this card really is saying just the energies at play are causing you to take this action of walking away and searching for something more fulfilling. But we'll keep reading. The Oracle's message says, you are at the end of one journey and have not yet begun the next. This is the moment to bless your experience thus far. Take stock of what you've learned. It's time to move on to new experiences and a new way of being. There is nothing left for you to do, be, or experience in your present circumstances. Take the risk and move on, even if you need to be in transition for a time. Your destiny is calling you. So, we've pretty much covered that theme to an extent with the main spread too, so I won't really speak too much on that, but hopefully you guys got something from that message. The relationship message says it's over, or at the very least, the form this relationship has taken is no longer of service to you or the other person. This is a time of letting go, of knowing that the journey has come to its conclusion. That doesn't mean anything is lost. Although this card could speak to a breakup, drifting apart, or the end of a soul contract, it is more about release than destruction. Remember the saying, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back, it's yours. If not, it never was. Endings are always a sign of new beginnings. If you want something deeper, walk away. So that really stuck out too. If you want something deeper, walk away, right? And maybe that's like I was saying with the Queen of Cups there, and then the Ace of Pentacles with the 9, saying that, maybe for some of you that was coming to that realization that you're never going to get to that 10 of Pentacles level in this connection, right? And maybe The Queen of Cups is saying, you didn't want to let the connection go, but maybe you're just coming to the realization that, you've gone about as far as you can with the connection. But for others of you, at the very least, like I said, if this is more about you holding in your feelings, if you do want to save the connection, keep in mind you might want to speak up soon, or it could be the other person that actually walks away. All right, the prosperity message says this message is clear. The path you've been on with your work, creative projects, and business alliances have come to an end. You will not find the success you desire by continuing with what is now in front of you. This is an auspicious sign because there is no choice that will benefit you other than risking stepping into the unknown. It is a time to walk toward something new. This card also pertains to the more neutral concept of completion. You've finished your task and can rest assured that this ending will open up a powerful new avenue of opportunity, even better than any you can imagine. You have done all you can. Now trust that Spirit keeps the plan moving forward. Fortune requires you to conclude this chapter of your life, and remember that when you close one door, another opens. So that was interesting there too. It says you have done all you can. Now trust that Spirit keeps the plan moving forward. To me, that makes me think of the two energy, the Two of Swords, the Two of Pentacles, and then the Temperance. To me, it's almost like, okay, it takes those two swords and those two pentacles and actually takes over for you, right? If we look at the angel symbolism there, it's like, Spirit taking over for whatever it was and turning it into what you need it to be. All right, and then, like I said, you guys got two cards that came out of the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. The first one you guys got is Swan Spirit. It says, time for a deep dive. There's the artwork for it, and the number on that is 60. So let's take a look at this. Okay, it says, with their graceful long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. When Swan Spirit arrives, you are called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness, for there is knowledge you are not aware of and greater treasures to discover. Deeper understanding awaits you, and a perspective that comes from greater self-knowledge is what you need right now to better understand the situation or relationship. As you come to know yourself more intimately, so too will you come to better know others. So Swan Spirit asks you to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. Know there is much deeper potential for loving connections, forgiveness, and mutual understanding. Choose to dive deep into your why. Asking the deeper questions of yourself, you are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. So hopefully you got something from that message as well. And then, like I said, we have another card that came up from that deck, and it's Brown Bear Spirit. It says, take time out. There's the artwork for it, and the number on that one is 9. So let's take a look at that message. Okay, it says there is a time to act and a time to focus your attention on patient strategizing. The arrival of Brown Bear Spirit signals that you are best served by foregoing hard work toward your goals at this moment and instead taking the time out to meditate. Or just take a nap so you can refresh and begin planning what you want to co-create next. Come to know the lay of the land as you contemplate and imagine what you might do in this vast space of possibility before you, and begin forming a plan. Remember, sleep allows for dreaming and rest allows for clear-headed strategizing. How might you become the person you wish to be and experience whatever your heart desires? Insights will arise as you explore the possibilities and begin envisioning your plan. Knowing what you want will ensure you use your energy wisely in the days ahead. Be patient at this time. Relax and be calm and peaceful so you can recharge. The call for action will come later. So it's interesting to me. In some ways that almost contradicts some of the energy that we see in this main spread, namely the Tower, and like I said with that Two of Swords, crossing it, almost like saying that, indecision could lead to that Tower moment happening. In one way, like I said, if it's something that needs to go from your life anyway, that could just be saying that inaction will take care of the problem for you. But for those of you, if it's something you don't want necessarily taken from your life, then maybe that brown bear spirit, won't resonate with as many of you, but hopefully you got something from that as well. All right, and then lastly, we have a mudra card. And for those of you who haven't been watching my videos, I've been pulling mudra cards for all the signs, and what they are is they're hand gestures that you use while meditating. Usually you want to hold them for a minimum of 5 minutes, but if you're more accustomed to meditating, you could even go half hour, 45 minutes. And each mudra has helped to clear certain blockages, so sometimes even physical, but usually more on a mental, emotional level. And the one that you guys got for this month is the Kapittha mudra, and the keyword for it is creativity. Let's turn the card over so you guys can get some additional info on it. Okay. And so that way, if you want to pause it or take a screenshot to read what it has to say, you can. And then as you can see, I'm going to have to move the card up a bit too, so I'll give you guys another couple of seconds. Then I'll move it up so you can see the rest. Okay, under benefits, it says, can be used as a tool for sexual healing, releasing guilt and shame around sexuality, increases sensitivity and receptivity, stimulates healthy libido, opens the connection between the pelvis and heart, expands feelings of devotion and loving kindness. So if that sounds like something you guys could benefit from, I'll put the name of that in the description of the video as well if you wanted to look into that a bit more. But we'll wrap up there. Like I said, happy birthday, guys, and I'll see you guys next month. Bye.